The LLM program at UW feels like a community. It builds that. It gives you that feeling that you're not alone and that you have peers and that you have people that you can talk to.
When I came to the UW Law School, I was sure that I would meet some great people, but I didn't know how many people that I would meet from so many different places.
I feel like I gained so much from learning from many different cultures.
The diversity blew me away. And I think that the benefits of that diversity are the range of experiences and insights that you get and different perspectives that people have that come from different backgrounds.
Seattle, number one, is a melting pot of so many cultures.
There's a lot of ingenuity and innovation, and I think that that kind of shapes other people that come to Seattle and also just the general city environment.
So coming to Seattle gives you an opportunity to be able to have access to a good law school, but also have access to a good network of professionals. Experiential learning for me and the opportunity to be an intern at Landesa is a way for me to connect what I am learning to my next step in my career. Some of the faculty members that I have been able to learn under at the University of Washington are leaders in their field.
Working with the faculty and learning at the UW has been amazing. Professors are very supportive. I had issue with childcare, and I mentioned that to the director of my program, and she told me, Nathaly, you know that we have a room for parents when they need to attend classes.
I've made some great connections with some faculty members, particularly in the Indian law area, and I think that there'll be some long-term connections that I have even across the giant Pacific Ocean.
Another thing that I love about the school here is that they have so many organizations where you can get involved, because throughout those organizations I get to meet other people, other professionals, other attorneys, and we organize so many events here.
I didn't really know what to expect when I came to UW Law, but what I feel like I'm walking away with is something really incredible. The benefits of it are going to, I think, follow me for the rest of my life. So it's been a real pleasure and a terrific experience to be here.
Thank you, Francisco. I'd like to ask you to join me one more time in making very clear that you belong in the law. Yes. Thank you. It's my pleasure now to introduce our second student speaker, and this comes from our graduate students. I'm delighted to introduce to you Nathaly Cheket-Aular. And thank you. Nathaly received her JD from Santa Maria University and practiced law in Venezuela before her political situation forced her to look for a better future in Seattle. While working locally as an advocate for domestic violence survivors, she saw a need she could fill with an advanced law degree and entered our general LLM program. During that time, she's been a stellar student at UW Law School, serving as a graduate student representative for the SBA and in many other student organizations, including serving on the editorial board of the Washington International Law Journal. She now works at Black Law PLLC, where she helps immigrants obtain post-conviction relief. Following graduation, Nathaly will continue this work as she prepares for the bar exam, all the while raising her two daughters. Please join me in welcoming Nathaly to the lectern.
Good evening, Dean Testi, member of the faculty, friend of the University of Washington School of Law, and my fellow graduates.
So where are all the graduates of the class of 2017? Let's all your family and friends hear you here one more time, please. Well, graduate, we finally did it. And it was not easy. And when I said that, I don't mean only the struggle of trying to catch up with reading more than 200 pages a week, the memos, and decoding the Blue Book. I am talking about the great sacrifice that you and your loved ones have made. Now the day has finally come, and to all of our dear husbands, wives, children, friends, and family that gave us endless love and support, thank you very much. If it wasn't because of all of you, we couldn't be here today. For many of you, it has been a very interesting year. Long gone is the cultural shock of the first quarter living in Seattle. Now you know that people were not kidding about the rain here, right? My experience as an LLM student was amazing. I fell in love with the school instantly. My course selection was very exciting for me. One class I remember dearly was constitutional law because it was one of the biggest and diverse classes. Professor Falvey was always so interested in each of us and our culture. He asked us every week to share with him about the things that we found strange about the US. And students say things like, Americans love their country and their constitution, but not their government. People like to drive places 200 meters away instead of walking. Or, like, you have to be super enthusiastic when talking to people, kind of in like a cheerleader style. Thinking back of the moment when I first considered applying to the LLM program, I remember reading about the application process. One requirement was to write a statement of purpose. I remember reading that this institution has a strong commitment to public service and that during the selection process, the admission committee will evaluate how I was planning to use this degree to contribute to the global common good after graduation. And I have to confess, I was extremely scared and intimidated by that committee. How can I impress and get them to accept me in the program? When I left my country and I moved here, I wanted to reinvent myself. I didn't want to do anything with the law anymore after my experience as a law clerk at the Supreme Court of the Public Affairs in Venezuela. It was hard for me to understand that I was being forced to leave my country and that at that moment I have to fit all my life in 2 bags weighing 50 pounds or less. But in any case, I did it. I moved here knowing very little English, and I started from zero. I worked different jobs that helped me to adapt to the new culture, and one of those jobs was a Washington State certified interpreter. One day I had a client, and she had an appointment with her attorney, and this case was a pro bono case. She was a domestic violence survivor and was facing the possibility of having the custody of her children removed because she allowed her perpetrator to pick up the children on Fridays and bring them back on Sunday. The attorney was very frustrated with her and was scolding her about how bad the judge will see this. She was scared and lost. The attorney left for a minute the office, and the client turned to me, sobbing and devastated. She told me, I didn't know it was wrong. He is a bad husband, but he's a good father. That moment struck me. I saw in her a very rural cultural problem, and that problem was putting her in a dilemma with the American legal system. Because for her, he could be multiple guys, but for the American legal system, he was not. I saw the need right there of a native Spanish speaker attorney who can help people like her to navigate the American legal system. Then I thought about her while writing my statement of purpose, and I came to the conclusion that when you work to improve behavior that affect not only individuals, but also communities, you are working for the common good. Since I left my country, my rule of law was, I cannot forget where I came from because where I came from, it will help me to get where I want to be. And it is okay to feel scared, but it's important to always remember that fear can't stop me. And it didn't stop me from leaving my country, learn a new language, and start all over again. After all, falling is the opportunity of practicing how to get up and becoming better after every time you do so. That is why I said to you today, don't ever let fear stop you. You can certainly do whatever you want in life, no matter how old are you. But please, don't forget always working together with your community for the global common good, especially now when we have many global challenges such as poverty, climate change, and economic crisis, all problems that global community must face collectively. But in order to do so successfully, we need to engage in a continued multicultural dialogue on alternative approaches to development that are ethical, justifiable, political, acceptable, and ecological sustainable. Today, I finally find my voice as a professional. I feel empowered by many professors and faculty members. I now feel I have a duty to give back to my community and help those who are less privileged. I certainly recognize that while we don't have a perfect legal system, there is still, you guys here have check and balance. And we saw that when the now president tried to test how far he could go, and our amazing Washington State Attorney General and his team stopping immediately. This amazing opportunity also gave me an invaluable experience of meeting the most fascinating people. I learned here that common good will always point towards the possibility of security and justice, and that can be achieved only through a collective action, an active participation in the public realm of the legal system and public service. I also learned in depth about common good when I met amazing people like Isato Jallo, who wants to eradicate the practice of female genital mutilation, Francis Cairo, who is leading the fight against corruption in Kenya, Francis Bain, who is vigorously representing indigenous children in Australia, or Aida Joaquin Acosta, who is trying to find alternative methods for regulating new technologies in order to adapt them to the public administration. And I'm just mentioning a few of the brilliant minds who came to our school to learn how to improve behavior that affect not only individuals but also community. A commitment to the common good recognizes that community as a whole benefit from this kind of service from which everyone contributes. I now like to conclude my speech by paying my respect for all the brave citizens of my native country, Venezuela, who are fighting a disproportional fight against a government, Nicolás Maduro, for more than 60 days, after the Supreme Court moved to dissolve the country's Congress in order to establish a government dictatorship. To my Venezuelan peers, don't give up because a better government will soon come to you. Venezolanos, no desmayen y sigan luchando, que el camino puede ser largo, pero la recompensa va a ser extraordinaria. Finally, I would like to extend my personal gratitude to Dr. Dana Rydrowski and Professor Mary Husky. Thank you for your unconditional support and devotion to all the students. Professor Angelica Cházaro, thank you very much for empowering me my interest in immigration law. And with your permission, I would like to give a special thanks to my lovely husband and my lovely husband Druso and my sister Estefania, my amazing daughters Fernanda Melia and Fabiola Alejandra. Thanks to you all, I am standing here today. You are the reason why I breathe every day. And to my mother, who throughout her impartiality and honesty as a judge in Venezuela, showing me the importance of the common good. Los amo a todos con toda la fuerza de mi ser. Thank you all for this amazing opportunity. Congratulations, class of 2017, and let's keep contributing to the global common good.